and I'm glad that it's Monday afternoon. I really am.
Thank you. Oh my God, so I got it working. I'm here. It's great.
You've done well. So before we start, Chi, do you have a glass of wine in your
I
hand?
do. I have both. I have a body and then I have a wine chaser because
Oh,
I started a
you've
little bit
done
early
well.
getting ready.
Cheers, Lara. So
Cheers.
to all the viewers, we've got the beautiful Lara on this afternoon. Lara, I had the pleasure of meeting you. It was actually about 12 months ago
Yeah.
when I was running the Kitchen Bathroom Design Institute event up in the city, and we had you as a guest on for the evening. And I absolutely enjoyed what you had to say that evening. And most importantly, I really enjoyed your energy. Your energy was quite infectious, if you like.
Oh,
It
thank
was a real fun night. And as you know, we all hung around and had a few drinks at the end of it. It was absolutely fantastic. So it was a no-brainer for me to ask you to join us on the couch and have a happy hour to wrap a Friday up. So moving on, can you give us all a little bit of a background and all our viewers a little bit about you and who you are? Who is Lara?
Okay. Okay. So my name is Lara Scolari and I love art. I've loved art all my life. People always ask me, how long have you been an artist for? Well, all my life. Um, I grew up in Putney, which is a suburb of Sydney, and my dad was actually uh, a chemical engineer where he actually made pigments for an artist paint company. So that's
Okay.
he was an industrial chemist. That's what it's called, and they mixed colours and made different. I remember he still goes on about making the blue for the top of the state inside the State Theatre. When they turn it off, it's like midnight with the
Yeah.
blue. So
Yeah.
he's very proud of that
Yep.
blue. So all my life, I had all of these. My mother was also an artist, and they're both very musical. So all my
Okay.
life I was surrounded by this, and I have a younger sister, Carly, who's 18 months younger than me. And we always had multitudes of music on, records playing, and art supplies everywhere. So Dad would bring home all the leftover art or arts that weren't tubed properly in this factory or anything he was playing with for us to play with. So I was lucky enough to be playing with high-end artist paint since I was 3 and encouraged to because there was just so much of it.
Mm.
And I
So
just
you were surrounded by creativity by the sounds of it growing up.
absolutely, absolutely. I remember at about the age of 10, I even I wanted to paint a mural on my wall. Like I wanted to paint my whole bedroom wall. I had this idea of painting a mural all over the wall, and they said yes. And
Mm.
you should have seen it.
I hope you took photos of it.
Yeah, I tried to find some actually, but yeah, yeah, wow. But it's paint. You can always paint over, so it's just
That's,
playing.
that's, that's all right. And so obviously you pushed on at that point and then studied art, is that right?
Yeah, so then of course primary school and high school, and when I first left high school, I actually joined my dad at the paint factory, Matisse Derivan, and I
Okay.
worked there for a long time in sales, and so I used to have to mix the colours and talk to a lot of the art shops and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was studying, and then I had a client actually from Western New South Wales who I befriended within my role of sales for Matisse. And they said, "Oh, we've got to start these government stores. We need art supplies in Western New South Wales. Would you like the job?" And I said yes, which I can't believe. I think I was 21. And I went out there and started selling art supplies in Western New South Wales. And it was fabulous.
Oh, and
So,
that was then a real springboard to get going, I suppose.
yeah. And then I sort of really got more invested in studying and going further with my arts practice. I was in Dubbo, which is a fabulous city that I love, and
Mm.
I was very involved. The old art gallery, the Dubbo Regional Art Gallery, actually burnt down in a fire. And the whole community got involved in rebuilding a big, fantastic cultural centre. And it's if
Well,
you've ever been to Dubbo, it's not just the zoo; it's the art gallery.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
a little bit like Maitland's. You know how
Yeah,
Maitland's is beautiful? Like there's a couple of really
yeah.
fantastic regional art galleries out there. Dubbo's one of them.
But it's also, I suppose, those sort of regions, a bit sort of when you go out to Mudgee, that sort of stuff. There's also the food and the wine culture bleeds into the art. There's a real
Absolutely.
organic sort of creative vibe, I think Dubbo's very much taking on that as well.
It is, it is. So I was out there and then I continued studying and then started working at the Dubbo Regional Gallery, and I started working there in arts administration. And I used to run the centre on the weekend, and then I got promoted into what they call education officer. So I used to write all the programs and curate some of the shows for all the children, and take the children through and talk to them about art.
Oh,
And yeah,
that
what
would
do
have
you
been
see in that? It was fabulous. It was
yeah.
fun. It was really great. It was the best place to work.
Good to get that young minds spewing out what they see and actually letting that create, that part of their mind that I suppose they don't have that filter at that age as well, and let out
Yeah,
what they can see and what they feel of
yeah,
art would be a great thing. I don't know,
exactly.
one thing that touched me a lot with art, with some international travel and sort of going to art galleries and intersections and cathedrals all over the world, especially through Europe, is that the one thing I've really loved witnessing is the school children over in Europe appreciating the art, and some of them, especially when there's a dome, they all lay down on the floor with
Yep,
a little pillow there, and they lay there for half an hour, and their teachers or someone guides them through what they're
that's
looking
it.
at, and
That's
it's a
it. That was
real. You
me.
can see how they're brought up. They're brought up appreciating art
Yes.
so much more than I think we are here.
Yeah, I
We
I
think
think
of
it's just access, and that's the thing with those regional centres. Being those smaller towns with these fabulous facilities, the kids just go there all the time. So those
yes.
sort of regional kids are really, really cultured in a sense.
There you
It's
go.
just nothing to go down there.
There's a question that's just come in regard to our topic right now. Any tips for engaging school kids
Oh,
during the online learning moment? So, is there any, I suppose with homeschooling at the moment,
yes,
people trying to keep their kids engaged.
yes.
League Arts, obviously, a good one. Have you got any tips, tricks to answer that question?
Oh, there's lots of tips and tricks. You've just got to do something that they like. And it's good. And obviously, art's the most fabulous subject because there is no wrong. It's whatever you want it to be. So there's no mistakes ever. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's upsetting when your child is drawing something and they're all frustrated because it's not how they want it to turn out. I think that's the hardest thing with teaching art. You have to sort of say, no, it's fabulous. You can change that or make that, or
Mm.
cut it up and collage that. And there's so many. You just don't finish with one thing. So
Yes.
encouragement. There is no wrong in art. Full stop. And they've got to
Yes.
enjoy it. And something that is resonates with me is it's got to be true to themselves. So it's got to be something they love and they want to do, and the colours they like, and the theme they want. Yeah, I think that's very, yeah, it's good. But I mean,
I'm seeing quite a lot of this online stuff at the moment as well, and encouraging
ah,
people to sort of get on and buy. And I think that's a great thing, that it's giving people the opportunity to let that creative side of their mind out that perhaps they never have the opportunity to do, because they might be in a corporate position or in
yep.
IT or something. And
Or have
now,
like difficulties where they can't actually, or have fear to sort of, do that little creative subject, topic, or make a painting. And yeah, they can. And please, people, I encourage you. Yeah.
oh, absolutely, and I love it too, because I think it's also teaching people the use of colour
Yes.
and blending colour, and obviously, it's sort of something that people like creatives like ourselves do all the time.
Yes.
But for other people, I suppose, it does. I'm sure it opens up different boxes in your mind and gives you that energy to do that. But most of your stuff is abstract expressionist
Yes.
style. Why is that? Why do you think that is
Okay.
your
Obviously, I've studied fine arts. I have a master's in arts degree, so I can do all the genres of art. So in the fine arts, there's painting, drawing, printmaking, sculpture. That's the main fine arts. So you're taught all of these forms or these genres of drawing, still life painting. All those are taught. And you take that on board when you're studying for years, and you go through your guidance of your teachers, and you learn this, and look at all different artists and how they work and how they did it, particular subjects and what have you. And I just love abstract expressionism. Like, that is my thing. If I was to go out and buy something, that's what it would be. That's what I'm drawn to. That's what I'm attracted to. Um, I love that whole idea of um, looking deeper and not really seeing what's there, but seeing what's underneath, or little mysteries in things. I also love traditional painting and still life, and some of my best, my
Okay.
favourite painters. I love it all. That's the thing. But for my own painting, it took me a long time to find my own style. And as an artist, you have to be really true to yourself. And that's something you have to do, something that's different and that's yours, that you own. And I've really tried to focus on that, and really tried to build that up over the years. And like, I've just finished my sort of, basically my 2020 series is finished, and I'll move on soon. I'm ready to make another shift, and I'm very excited to where
Okay.
that'll bring me as well. So it keeps
Do you have
developing.
any
Pardon me?
sneak peeks? Have you have
Yeah,
anything
well,
to
these
tease
are
us
these are
that
half done.
no one else has seen yet?
Yeah, you're in the studio now, and I've made some of these earthy ones. This gold leaf is something that I've just started to do. That's rose gold leaf. It just adds a bit of bling. Some clients
I
like
know.
it. Yeah, I like it. It just and a bit more texture. Yeah. So I can.
I love it, and look, what I get out of a lot of your work as well, and over the pieces over the last few years, as you can tell by my art pieces here,
I like
I
them.
love
I like it.
I, I love the ocean, and I get a lot of that organic feel out of your artwork, and I get a lot of the ocean from it. If
Yeah.
you walk across the rocks, you get the salt drying in rings on the rocks, and the highs and the low depressions in the rock faces themselves. It
Mm.
reminded me a lot of your art. So for me, your art's actually quite calming,
Well, thank you.
because I relate the ocean and being down there is my peaceful place. And so I'm sure I know that's one thing that I really appreciate out of your art is that it
Mm.
gives me a sense
Well, I don't know
of
whether that informed my art, but like, obviously growing up in Sydney and partly at Kissing Point, I was always down the rocks, down the river. I lived
yes.
lived down there, and you just play with the crabs, and did this all that sort of stuff, playing in that harbourside river, rock bed, sandstone rocks. So I think there's a lot of that within my work. And then also my time, in Dubbo, in the outback, seeing the red earth and the big blue sky, and the amazing
Yeah.
light. Australia has amazing light, but when you go to those places that are just clear sky, the light is just
Mm.
amazing. And that's obviously why they,
And,
do movies and
and
stuff out there.
and there are also environments that are relaxed, beautiful places to be, right? Which I
True.
suppose is testament, to your personality as well, being a lovely, relaxed person. But then that shines through in the artwork.
Yeah.
But on inspiration though, and this is something that intrigues me with artists, and if we were to ask somebody a question, what is their one secret that nobody knows about? Can I throw that at you? Because I've
My
got
one
something to share.
secret. What do I do that's I have a few secrets. I am a little bit the further it goes on with my practice, and I've done a few workshops here and there, and people want to know how I do it, and I show them, like, it's no big secret. It's just playing and years of mistakes really to get this look. But it's hard. You can show people all you like your method, but they don't do it the same. And so someone says to
Yes.
me, oh, you can show them and talk it through and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's got to be theirs. And if they don't
Yeah.
own it, there's no confidence in the line, or you can see it. I don't know. I think you can. And that's what some people say
I
to me.
believe
Oh,
you.
Laz, don't give all your secrets away. There's no secrets. They can't do it. No one can do it like me. No one, or you. I
Yeah.
can't do it like you. You know what I mean? Everyone does it
No.
differently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I suppose you can feel the brushstroke before it actually starts because you've got that creative side of you, and it's a flow, I suppose.
Absolutely. Sort of executing the work. So executing the work is the easy bit. The
Yes.
planning, the thought, and with my works, they're abstract expressionists. Each work takes me about 8 weeks from woe to go.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're made
Mhm.
up with layers and layers of ink. And I sort of start with, that's one of these.
So is it
That's a
mainly?
plan.
Let's get that. So anyone that's just joined us, we've got the amazing Lara Scolari from Lara Scolari Gallery with us, on the couch, Friday afternoon happy hour with Gav.
Yes.
And if you've got any questions, pump them in, guys. Lara is the guru. well, not necessarily the guru, but the one that's so passionate about art, and she does a beautiful job at it. So if you don't follow Lara, I really strongly encourage you after this to head over and follow Lara. She's just as I said already, a beautiful soul, but does amazing art. And on that, I'd really encourage. This is one thing at the moment. I'd love to encourage everyone to do at home while we're locked up in isolation.
Yes.
And we might be looking and be feeling a little bit down at the moment, if you like. And, being essentially, our lives have changed. We're working from home now and things have changed.
Oh.
Consider getting a piece of art in your home.
Yes.
Consider getting a piece of art commissioned for yourself and put it in home that is for you. And really, it gives you that amazing, every time whether it's in your lounge room, dining room, bedroom, wherever it is, every time you walk past it, it gives you that real special feeling. It is for you. It brightens your day up. Art definitely has the ability to do that, let alone an amazing kitchen or bathroom. Right? But art right now is something which is achievable. I'd really encourage everyone at the moment just to consider an amazing piece of art from somebody like Lara or from Lara. And do that. So even if you'd like to reach out to myself and talk about colours and the overall schemes, we'll speak with Lara and we'll get something moving for you. So Lara, on that, so when it comes to actually commission pieces and that sort of stuff, how much of your work is commission versus, you sort of, pulling some stock together?
Exactly. So the commission side of it and working with people like yourself, like interior designers and with homeowners is the major part of my business. So I'm constantly working on a commission, which I love. And I love, dealing with the client and, getting a brief for their particular wall and, making something special for them. It's a bit stressy. Like I do stress out about it. It's hard because I want to make it so good. And so some artists say I don't do commissions, but because it is difficult. But at the end of the day, they've just got to you have a brief. We actually have a brief, and then I draw up a plan. So this is a funny angled work that I've just done for a very special client. Don't usually do this. It's for a kitchen, and he wants to put it in a rafter. I better not show you. I don't know. And so I've drawn up the plan, and we've agreed on that. We've agreed on colours, and then basically they give me my artistic license to create it as beautiful as I can for them. And that's what I do.
They're also commissioning themselves because they've got confidence because they love so much of your.
You've got to like my work. You've got to like my style. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like Mal's just commented there, colour-inspired design. Like Mal's quite well known for his bright. I had Mal on last Friday afternoon. And absolutely, and look, an artwork is one of those things to bring in. It's no doubt when I go into a new project, into a client's home, generally I try and pick out one or two pieces of art, and we'll talk about that. And I actually look at the colours and the layers that are in that, and then we'll talk about that a little bit as well. To see how we can complement that piece of art through their new furnishing. Because there's usually, I can guarantee you, always one or two pieces of art in someone's home that's their forever pieces. And if we can sort of get, and it's for us, it's almost a cheat sheet in a way.
And you know how you were saying before about it's a good time for people to, if they were thinking about art, to in their homes a lot, climbing literally the walls to get something on the walls. It's just like what I was saying. You've got to be true to yourself. So you've got to love it. I say people say, "Oh, what should I buy?" I say, "Well, if it doesn't reach out and go, oh wow, I really love that," it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. I also had something concerns me is people go, "Oh, I want to check with my friend. I want to check with someone." If you love it, you love it.
Absolutely. And art subjective, isn't it? It is definitely that thing.
Absolutely.
You look at it, I love it, I don't.
Yep.
Or if you don't love it instantly, for me, if it still makes me pause and really stand there and try and take it in, I think that's enough to say,
absolutely.
All right, there's something.
See, we even say in the art world, we say it's not that you like it or you don't like it. Did I make you stop and think? So, if in the art gallery or whatever, if you had some, cranky person or whatever, and they, you don't like this, that, and the other, what's this all about? You go, oh, well, good. Yeah. Got you thinking, didn't I? You know what I mean? So that's positive.
I 100% understand what you're saying, because one thing I say to my clients is, if, let's say we're designing a new kitchen or bathroom for them, and we're perhaps pushing them slightly out of their comfort zone, which I see is my role as their designer. And one thing that usually gets put back to me, I wonder what other people will think though, Gavin. And it's just
I
like, it doesn't
know.
matter what other people think of your
I
home, as
find
long
that
as you're
difficult
happy.
too. That's probably my most difficult thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, really? Oh, okay then.
There's not worry about what others think. Worry about what you think. And what I would prefer is somebody to come in and comment about it, whether it's positive or negative, as in the colours, rather than say nothing at all,
I agree. I agree.
because it started a conversation.
But I think the world's changing. I think people are happier to be more independent and back themselves. There's a lot
Yeah,
more confidence now, which is great. It's really good. Even
of
fashion
course.
in all forms, not just art, fashion. People are happy
I,
to wear what they want. They just pick out what they like. It's good. Yeah.
just losing you a little bit there, Lara.
Mm.
It just looks like Lara, or at least for me, she has, guys. She's just dropped out for the moment.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
yeah.
here for
Oh, you're
me.
slow. You're still half there. You're
Oh,
cutting back in and out.
sorry.
But no, that's all right. Any questions, guys? While we just wait for that connection to sharpen back up. Any questions? Shoot them through. We're happy to answer those questions. Absolutely. And while we're waiting, it's still straight. Oh, you're coming back.
Oh,
I'm just going to
good.
give a plug to the winery that
Oh,
I'm
yes.
enjoying this afternoon. Tatini Wines, a beautiful Chardonnay, a
Mm.
2014 Chardonnay. This is a beautiful little winery up on the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, up in the Barrel area. Absolutely beautiful. So I'd like to give them a big plug and a thank you for letting me appreciate this wine this afternoon. And I can see you perfectly. You're all back.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Probably one of the kids
So,
logging onto PlayStation or something. I don't know.
oh,
Apparently, it makes no difference how many people are on the NBN, but I think it does.
yeah. You know what's going on. You mentioned something to me the other day about you're supposed to be in New York at the moment. Is that right?
I was actually supposed to fly out on Anzac Day.
Oh,
Lucky.
wow.
But
That's tomorrow.
yes, I know. It's going to be so exciting. And I'd never been there before. And I was asked to go to exhibit and I was delighted. But yeah, what can we do with this mess?
So what was that about? Was it at
That
a
was,
show?
yeah, that was for an art show, which is one I support here in Sydney and Melbourne called the Other Art Fair. And they put on a show
Okay.
in Sydney at Barangaroo and Melbourne, and they're big internationally. And the guy that runs it is a Pommy guy, but they're just such a great team. You know when you go with an event or a crew and you just think, wow, these people are just so switched on. They're great. They're
Yeah,
great. Look,
yeah.
they're really good. And like when I went to LA
Oh,
last year, and they get Bombay Sapphire to sponsor. Like I do, they have a Bombay Sapphire sponsors the whole show, and it's free cocktails from 10 in the morning till 11 at night, every day.
oh wow.
It's fantastic.
Wow.
People are
There you
buying
go.
art left, right, and centre.
Yeah, but that's your world. So, and I suppose, like being at shows like that,
Yep.
being around it yourself with other artists, you must get so much out of that.
Oh, absolutely. The other artists, the other art lovers, different people. It's just a fabulous vibe and culture. Yeah, it is. It's great fun. It really is. So very disappointed to not go to New York. But then we had a Zoom meeting, like with 60 of the artists. So they take 100 of the world's sort of emerging artists to these things, and you get selected. It's actually a pretty hard thing
Oh,
to
really?
get selected. Yeah, they don't just pick anybody, so it's really nice.
So you have to get invited.
Pardon me, I lost you for a sec.
Oh, sorry, I just lost you again.
Oh, that's all
The
right.
beautiful thing of me, I've got no control over the feed.
Yeah, it's getting slow.
About this new live format. I've got no control over things.
Oh, it's all
Not as
right.
if
It's
we
all
can say
good.
stop and re-edit.
Have a drink. Have a sip. Mm.
So you actually got invited in.
You get selected.
To
Yeah,
that
you have to put in a
to the New York.
proposal. Put in a proposal, and you get selected in. And they're just a great team. And they said yesterday they wanted to rehost it in August. So I went, oh, I don't know about
Oh
that.
wow.
So yeah, so we'll
Yeah.
see.
Well,
They seem very positive. we hear all this doom and gloom on the news and the numbers look terrible. So I don't know. I emailed them back and said, oh, I don't know. I don't know whether Australia will be flying out. So put me on the back burner for the
Yeah,
next show,
well,
But yeah,
health has to come first, doesn't
August.
it?
And they said it'll be great
Yeah.
because, the press will get right behind it because it'll be the first big event since COVID. And I went, oh. So yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Oh, good on you for being, to be a part of that, though. I mean, it's
Yeah,
a big feather in the and a feel-good thing.
thank you. And I mean, for everybody, this virus has just thrown our worlds upside down. But yeah, in particular, being a creative. So I've spent the last 18 months, so all of last year and beginning of this year, creating in my studio here. So being an artist is sometimes, I suppose you could say it's like being a farmer, where you go in and you plant the crop and you wait for the crop, and then you're waiting and you invest everything into it, all of your time, energy, stress, cash, all that, and then you sort of wait for harvest or the exhibition.
Mm.
And that's when it's sort of heyday. So, or payday. But in my case, I had my exhibition for the whole past 18 months body of work scheduled for March 15th. Wow. I couldn't have timed it worse. Anyway.
But look, the only comfort I suppose I know I'm taking at the moment is with the virus. It's not discriminating just against me. It's an international thing. So we're all
Absolutely.
dealing with it together. And I think we need to find those little personal, those little things to pep us up. More
Absolutely.
self-care than I suppose we ever had before. And that's when I talk about, perhaps putting a little bit of colour and a bit of something exciting in your home,
Absolutely.
like some
Well,
art.
I've actually really
You
enjoyed
know,
it, which I know you probably shouldn't, but I've loved the being at home, and I thought I'd go straight into creating, but I've actually done a bit of like initially I was very cautious and basically did a lot of nesting, and
I love
now yeah, and I think a lot of my girlfriends have and stuff like
it.
nesting
Yeah,
and looking after their house and cleaning up the kitchen
yeah,
cupboards and all that sort of jazz.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's been nice, but yeah, back into the art now. I think just the last couple of weeks, I feel like I've settled into it and starting to
You're
create
ready to.
again. Yeah. What about yourself?
Oh, it'll quite heavily affected. Probably about 90% of our work got put on ice
Oh
pretty
yeah,
quickly in the first handful of days, if you like. It sort of it drew me down pretty quickly in the first few days as that happened. I found some creative ways to let that creative part of my mind and the positive energy really keep flowing. There's no doubt
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
And it's funny, the positive vibes, good things come. I've had a few new projects be presented to me just recently. But I put a massive amount of time and energy into helping local small business as
oh,
much as I can and giving
yeah,
back to the local business community. I'd
yes,
say that's the least I can do at the moment. If I do have a bit of free time to help others, why not do that?
yeah. You're
So
great.
as
And
much as I can.
look at these new initiatives. Look at it, the live Friday afternoon. I love
Well,
it.
absolutely, and it's looking at and saying I was essentially due at the moment, sort of on my calendar, and with what I had coming up, is to start my Friday afternoon concepts by Gavin Hepper. So last year we used to pre-record on the Friday morning
Right.
some video content with somebody in the industry, and I put that live at about 4 o'clock of the afternoon on Instagram TV. Where at the moment I went, you know what? Let's get away from it. Let's just keep it pretty raw. Let's
Yeah.
just sit at home and lounge and have a glass of wine or a beer and a chat with somebody interesting in the industry. And I'm really enjoying it. And the feedback I've been getting is absolutely amazing. It was quite cool last week. I've got several photos of people sitting at home on the lounge, like a bit of a selfie with a glass of wine.
I love it.
So it was a good laugh at the end of it as well. So,
Yeah.
hey, if anyone wants to do a selfie and send it through, please do so.
Please
I
do.
promise
Please do.
I won't share it on social media. We've got a question to come in, Lara. So anyone
Oh,
got any questions, don't forget to ask those questions. Where do you advise clients buy artwork?
okay. I would firstly advise people to go to Munsawicks Gallery in Sydney, who are my beautiful friends and the best gallerists that I know. Um, but they
Is that
represent me.
again?
That's Munsawicks. It used to be the
Okay.
Barry Stern Gallery in Glenmore Road, and that's where I had my show this year. and the lovely Dominic Munsell and Ted Wicks run it, and they're very
Yes.
passionate about their art. They've been in the industry for a very, very long time, and yeah, they're just great fun. It's a great, not even, yes, definitely if you want to buy, but just for a visit, go in there, meet
Mm.
them, and have a look around, and soak up some of the culture and their knowledge. Yeah, they're great.
Well, they're the tip of the day. Absolutely. And I love the fact that you just didn't say come to
Oh,
me. I recommend to go where there is other artists being displayed. I think that's really nice.
oh, absolutely. And that's the whole part of it. I love all art. I've got to stop myself from buying art. That's the problem.
Hey, there's one question that I've got. Have you ever actually created a piece that may well have been commissioned that at the end of it you went, I don't want to hand that over. I
No,
want to
when the
keep that.
commission piece, I it's always theirs. Sometimes I make two, and sometimes I'm always like, oh my God, I hope they pick that one. I hope they pick that one. You know what I mean? So if I get the brief and I'll say, okay, I'll make that, 3 meter by 3 meter earthy red in this composition for this particular wall in a hotel or whatever. So it'll be a really big work. And when I'm making the commissions, I make two at a time because it gives more flow
Okay.
and energy, and you can just, if you're doing one, you might as well do two. And because, as I said, each painting takes 8 weeks, and you've got to lay on the thin layers of ink, and each layer is a whole day. So you basically do one layer and stop. And I'm forced to stop. And it's something that I think I've brought my personality into it because I am so energetic. It's very hard for me to stop. So that whole art school thing of stopping, walking away, thinking about it, and then revisiting the work is something is integral, whatever the word is, part of what I do.
Right.
Because yeah, I force
That
myself.
must be hard to learn that. It must be hard to teach yourself to do that
Oh,
initially, rather than with a creative mind to keep going and
well,
want to
that's
get
why I
it
like to
finished.
have two or three on the go. And I
Yes.
really, really think about them. So each work, the art term is, they're very considered. So I'll put a layer on, like these ones have got one more to go. They're nearly ready, but I want to put a line of oil stick on them. And I've been looking at them
Okay.
all day, and I'll think about them all
Wow.
night. And I'm
Yep.
thinking about, and I've got all my colors. I know what I've got. I know what's in my head, what will look the best. And then tomorrow I'll execute. So it's sort of like I've got
Yes.
that picture in my mind, and I've been simmering them. I've put them up. I've played with them. I've looked at them. I've loved them. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
tomorrow, when I get back, when I'm ready to execute the actual work, that's the easy bit.
Yes.
I'll know
There
exactly
you
what I
go.
want to do.
Yeah.
And then it will,
Right.
hopefully they'll turn out, and I think they will. But sometimes even if they don't, sometimes I think, oh, it's a disaster, but they're never a disaster. And then I look at them in about 3 months' time. I go, oh my God, it's great. What was I thinking?
Um, something which, and I've mentioned this to you the other day, one of the collaborations that you've done with Designer Rugs,
So great.
I need one of your designer rugs in my life.
Oh,
They're absolutely gorgeous. They
they
are so
are
nice.
gorgeous. And I was so
Yeah. How
lucky.
did that come about? How did you stumble over that one?
A friend knew the owner, who was a very generous and gorgeous man called Yossi Tao, and he loved my work. And if you do a bit of background into the history of designer rugs, they've always had this element of finding emerging or Australian artists and really and designers, because a
Yeah.
lot of designers there too, and really backing them and their designs. And yeah, he was just awesome. And I sort of thought, oh my, sometimes I think, oh, it's lots of color. Like, I don't know whether I'd have that on the floor and then that and all the rest of it. And I remember Yossi said to me, no, Lara, it's not about that. We love the color. Because I said, oh, once I did some of the designs, I said, oh, can we just do one in a monotone? I love monotone. No.
Mm-hmm.
He said, anyone can do monotone. That's just a switch on the computer. We want the colors.
Yep. And so you have
And
to sit
I
down with
always
all their
think
little.
of that. Yeah.
So you sat down with all their little colour
Yep.
swatch puffs.
Absolutely.
Well,
And built them.
how fun.
It was
Yeah.
fun, but it was so hard to get the colours right and the look right.
Mm.
I actually sent them back like twice. I felt really bad because there was so much work in it, and but they had to be right, and I didn't want them too Candyland. You know what I mean? I wanted them to be earth, but there's a blue one that I wanted really to look like the ocean, and it was after my work
Yeah.
Deluge, which is about rain
Mm.
and the rain coming down and then going, coming into the earth and seeping through the earth and the cracks and flooding, and then the other one was about growth, so like a wheat crop growing up to the sun, and the other one I
Yep.
called grain trader, which is more like more of these sort of colours again, more of these Australiana deep red
Yep.
oxides, ochres,
Mm.
but then heaps of energy and lots of greys, and I've thrown a bit of olive green in these, Gav. Actually, this is a new colour wave. I can show
Yeah,
you
I
in
can
a sec.
see it. You
Yeah,
can cluster that up, and especially on the one on that, which would be your left-hand side. Just a splash. The other.
yeah. So I can show you those in a
Oh,
minute, but yeah. So
we're back to front, so it's your other left. I don't realise when you're on screen, it's actually sort of
yeah.
back to front.
So these
It's
ones
good.
I've
But
just. Do you want to have a little look around the studio while we're on that now?
let's do that. I'd absolutely love to do that.
Okay.
And I'm sure everyone will give us a thumbs up and say yes, let's do
So
that.
usually
And
yeah.
before we start that journey, I'll top up this beautiful Tatini wine glass.
Okay. So initially, as you know, we were going to do the whole house, but I've got the kids home and it's a mess. So I just thought I'll do my little studio. I'll just turn the lights on. I won't be a sec.
Yep. All right. Anyone's got any questions for Lara, guys? Now's your opportunity. Known Lara for about 12 months, absolutely fantastic person, and you've been tuned in for this period of time. You'll be getting her energy as well. So it's about to give us a bit of a tour
I don't know how.
through.
I'm just going to do. I don't know how you see it.
Yeah.
So this is my little studio. I'll just start out the backyard. So this is my little backyard in Balmain, and this is sort of coming in to the studio. So it's only a smallish room. So how's that? Is that better?
Yeah, yep.
And so this
is that's quite a wide piece.
Yeah, that's the angled piece for the special client that I usually wouldn't do.
Wow.
But I'm making it.
Is actually like curves up. It's got a radius on it.
It goes up. It's fine for an angled. I can show you. So I've sort of got his house. I hope he doesn't mind. I don't think he'll mind. This is his house, and this is the kitchen, and that's the wall. Sorry.
Oh wow. So the kitchen could have been concept by Gavin Kitchen. Otherwise, quite.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Sorry. Is that if I switch this? Hold on. If I go like that. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so I'll give you a quick. So that's that work. That's not finished yet. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I've got to look at it and think about it for 24 hours. So we don't often do those things, but
this is what. Oh yeah, they're on the PlayStation or whatever it is.
So yeah,
I love looking at that.
Yeah,
that is absolutely beautiful.
It's going to look amazing. It's a very bland house, and it's going into a gable. He really wants it. So really big designer house in Canberra, actually. And these ones are on the back of the wall. These are sort of, I'm finishing them tomorrow. So they're lovely as a little triptych above a couch or a bed, which I really like to do them. All standalone works, of course. And then this one is, I'm really happy with this one.
They're separate.
Yeah, you can buy, these are just for stock. These are just for fun. So you can see I made this one for the client. This was what he requested.
I just lost you.
Oh, that's all right. I'll just keep showing you. This is what That
part of the studio doesn't work with Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might come closer to the door. And then I've got mess and colour wheels and...
Lara, come upstairs. It's better